pleasant morning to each and everyone. So let us continue our lesson to the review on basic concepts of accounting. Now let's go to the second chapter of our lesson, accounting concepts and principles. And these are the different learning objectives of this chapter. Number one, give examples of accounting concepts and principles. Number two, apply the concepts and solving accounting problems. So these are the basic accounting concepts. Number one, separate entity concept. Number two, historical cost concept. Number three, going concern assumption. Number four, matching principle. Number five, accrual basis principle. Number six, prudence or conservatism. Number seven, time period. Number eight, stable monetary unit. Number nine, materiality concept. Number 10, cost benefit. Number 11, full disclosure concept. And number 12, consistency concept. So let us discuss one by one what we mean by separate entity concept until the consistency. So separate entity concept, this business is viewed as a separate entity distinct from its owners. So iba po ang entity sa mga nagmamay-ari. Only the transactions of the business are recorded in the books of accounts. The personal transactions of the business owners are not recorded. So wag niyo pong i-record ang transaction mo as a personal owner sa transaction po ng negosyo. Number two, historical cost concept, cost principle. Assets are initially recorded at their acquisition cost. Kung magkano mo po binili, then that is the cost na i-record mo po. Going concern assumption, the business is assumed to continue to exist for an indefinite period of time. So ang assumption mo po ay mag-exist po ang negosyo mo for a period of time, indefinite. Matching concept, some costs are initially recognized as assets and charged as expenses only when the related revenue is recognized. So kung kumita ka, you need also to record an expense because yung ginamit mo para kumita ka. That is matching concept. Accrual basis of accounting, income is recorded in the period when it is earned rather than when it is collected, while expense is recorded in the period when it is incurred rather than when it is paid. So kung magre-record ka ng income, i-record mo kung kailan ka kumita. Then kung may nagastos ka, that is the time also na magre-record ka ng nagastos. Not the time, not on the time na kung kailan ka po nagbayad or kailan ka po binayaran. Prudence, the observance of some degree of caution when exercising judgments under conditions of uncertainty, such that if there is a choice between a potentially unfavorable outcome and a potentially favorable outcome, then favorable one is chosen. So you need to be conservative. Mas pipiliin mo po yung mas mababa kaysa sa mas mataas. This is necessary so that assets or income are not overstated and liabilities or expenses are not understated. So mas pipiliin mo po ang understated in terms of assets or income and overstated in terms of liabilities or expenses. That is under prudence or conservatism. Another concept, reporting period. The life of the business is divided into series of reporting periods. So you can do the report monthly, semi-annual like that, quarterly or annually. Stable monetary unit, assets, liabilities, equity, income, and expenses are stated in terms of a common unit of measure, which is the peso in the Philippines. Moreover, the purchasing power of the peso is regarded as stable. Therefore, changes in the purchasing power of the peso due to inflation are ignored. So, isa lang dapat pong gagamitin mo pong denomination. If that is a peso, then all of your transactions should be recorded in peso. Another concept, materiality concept. An item is considered material if its omission or misstatement could influence economic decisions. Materiality is a matter of professional judgment and is based on the size and nature of an item being judged. So materiality is based on the size and nature. Kung masyadong malaki, so that is a material. And if that is maliit and there's no significant effect naman, and that is immaterial. In terms of nature, lahat po ng pagnanakaw, that is very material. So you need also to check po the nature of that error, if that is significant, and if that is too much significant, then you need to, what I mean, the size. If that is fraud in terms of nature, then that is a material. In terms of errors, we need to check the size of that error. Cost benefit, the cost of processing and communicating information should not exceed the benefits to be derived from the information's use. So always check the benefit that you can get from that decision if benefit is higher than the cost. Another concept, full disclosure principle. Information communicated to users reflect a balance between detail and conciseness, keeping in mind the cost-benefit principle. So lahat po ng pwedeng makapekto sa mga decision makers, you need to disclose. Ipakita mo po. Consistency concept, like transactions are accounted for in like manner from period to period. So if you want to compare one data from another data, you need to be consistent with all the concepts that you will use. Consistency principle. Now let's go to the Philippine Financial Reporting Standards. The PFRS are standards and interpretations adopted by the Financial Reporting Standards Council. They consist of the following. Number one, PFRS, Philippine Financial Reporting Standards. PAS, Philippine Accounting Standards and Interpretations. Qualitative characteristics, fundamental qualitative characteristics, relevance and faithful representation. For the enhancing qualitative characteristics, comparability, verifiability, timeliness, and understandability. Now let's go to fundamental versus enhancing. The fundamental qualitative characteristics are the characteristics that make information useful to users, while enhancing qualitative characteristics are the characteristics that enhance the usefulness of information. So what do you mean by relevance? Information is relevant if it can affect the decision of users. Relevant information has the following characteristics. Predictive value, the information can be used in making predictions. Confirmatory value, the information can be used in confirming past predictions. Materiality is an entity-specific aspect of relevance. So magiging relevant po siya if that is material to an entity. So if that is insignificant, so it cannot be relevant po. Faithful representation. Faithful representation means the information provides a true, correct, and complete depiction of what it purports to represent. So ibig sabihin, you need to be honest. You need to be true with all the data that you are presenting to the different decision makers. Faithfully represented information has the following characteristics. Number one, completeness. All information necessary for users to understand the phenomenon being depicted is provided. Neutrality, information is selected or presented without bias. You need to be neutral. You need to present all the data based on the reality of that data. Free from error. There are no errors in the description and in the process by which the information is selected and applied. Enhancing qualitative characteristics, comparability. The information helps users in identifying similarities and differences between different sets of information. To make it comparable, as I told you, you need to be consistent with all the standards, principles, concepts that you are applying. Verifiability, the different users could reach consensus as to what the information purposed to represent. So what I mean by verifiability, you can check it that all the data are correct. If the data can present consensus, so kung tama itong isa, so tama rin po yung isa po. That what I mean by consensus. Timeliness, the information is available to users in time to be able to influence their decision. So time is essence para magamit po ng ating different decision makers. Kasi kapag nag-lapse na po yung time, may tendency na hindi na po magamit po ng users. Understandability, users are expected to have reasonable knowledge of business activities and willingness to analyze the information diligently. When you will present the data, as much as possible, maiintindihan po ng different decision makers. Ayan. So if you have any question, so you can ask me through PM, through Gmail, or through sending through Gmail what I mean po, your questions po. So after that, by the way, after I presented the discussion, I will give you the different activities through the G form or through sending po the different activities through your Gmail. So that ends what I mean the lesson for this day po. So I hope you will learn or you learn something about our lesson for this morning. Thank you and God bless for listening and attending our lesson.